My grandfather was Canadian, you know.
Really?
Aren't you one too?
The grandfather?
No, Canadian, sir, Canadian.
No, I grew up in Alaska.
Oh, well, they both get a lot of snow.
Yeah.
It was good talking to you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
Jeff and I are veteran Trekkies, and Dory is a newly minted Trekkie, and we are taking her on her first journey through Star Trek: The Next Generation. Today, we're discussing the Season 7 episode, Lower Decks. Original air date is February 5th, 1994. And as always, we'll take it to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so bear with. I had to reread my notes a couple of times to remember what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was reminded that I think this episode had potential, and then it okay, I'll get into it. Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we start with Troy and Riker discussing other crew members for promotion / new positions in 10 Forward. You know, a super great thing to do when the people that are being talked about are in the same room. Super chill. Why don't you go to a
Yeah, it's completely
go
reasonable.
to like an office. Go somewhere else. I don't know. And so a few tables away, we meet a group of 4 crew members having drinks. So we meet Sam Laval. He is, I wrote, token white man.
Mm-hmm.
We have Torek, who is a Klingon.
No, he's a Vulcan.
We have, oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. Yes, Vulcan. I wasn't looking at where I wrote that actual note. I wrote everyone's first and last names in a column on the side rather than like in the actual body where I normally write who is who. But we don't find out who some of these people are, like their full names, till later. So yes, Torek is a Vulcan, and I wrote, I found my note about him. I just wrote good voice in brackets.
Wonderful.
Then we meet Bajoran. We don't meet, we revisit.
That's right.
Sito Jaxa. I don't know if that's pronounced her last name.
That's right.
I did not remember her, but she was on Wesley's cover-up squad back in the episode a couple seasons ago when that kid died.
Love it.
And then, of course, number 4, obviously, I recognize because she is MVP of the fucking show. Nurse Alyssa Ogawa. I love her. Very psyched that we got to see more of her. Honestly, not enough.
Mm-hmm.
We need more of her.
You will get more of her, actually. I'm not sure why they focus
Good.
so much on giving her just like a bit of development here and there for like the rest of the season, basically. It's very odd, but I mean, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm happy for more of her.
She's been on the show like for a while, like here and there. So maybe it was just like doing her a solid of getting her more like screen time for when the show ends and she has to move on.
Yeah, that's possible.
So Sam is... so Troy and Riker, of course, are like, they're chatting, they're like laughing or whatever, and Sam is like, oh, what's so funny about crew evaluations? And he wants a promotion. Also, they're like far enough away that like, how would he know they're talking about crew promotions? But that's beside the point. That's me being nitpicky. So Sam wants a promotion so he can become a lieutenant and have his own room because he currently shares with Torek, and Torek is like, girl, if you're not happy about rooming with me, put in for a new room assignment, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clearly just joking around.
Yeah. Then we meet Ben, who this I do remember. That was in my prediction.
That's right.
Was
Yeah.
that so? It was. We have someone
Yeah.
from 10 forward. So I was like, holy shit. I don't recall seeing Ben ever, but he was a great addition with this episode. I enjoyed him a lot. So Ben asks Troy about dessert, and she's like, "Oh, I can't. Don't even." And I'm like, and then Ben goes to the group, and they're like, "Please tell us everything about what's going on." And Ben's like, "Bad news. It looks like Sam and Sito are up for the same promotion." Gasp. So then, so then we're on the bridge, and we're doing a simulation, and Sito is with Worf at his console, and Sam is at the console beside Data, where the other lady who shows up, who I don't remember her name, but it's the black lady who's always in that seat for the last
with
bunch
the
of
bob cut.
episodes.
Yeah.
And she's in
Yeah.
the background at like one of the bar scenes later on, and I'm like, why wasn't she in this group of 4? We didn't need Sam. We needed her. We needed more of her. She's been like in the. She was not even been in the background. She's been in the foreground, and we know nothing about her. I would have liked her to be in part of the 4, like this grouping. But, anyways, so meet. They are doing the simulation. They're slower than another group. So then the bridge crew. They're like, Picard's like, to Riker, change of plans. We got to go somewhere else. So they leave the bridge, and Picard calls a meeting on the observation lounge. And Sito's, I wrote, she seems cool. Because also at this point, I did not remember her. And Sam thinks that Riker doesn't like him. And he's like, Riker gave you Data's seat. Because when they left, he's like, you can sit there in Data's seat. And but Sito's like, oh no, like maybe she just needs the practice more than you do, blah blah blah.
Well, okay,
So,
the reason that that was a little bit further. The reason that he doesn't think that he's liked by Riker, which I feel like this is a very important thing to point out, is that moment earlier on when he's just like, aye aye sir, and Riker stops and like dead stares at him and is just like, one eye is sufficient, ensign. And it's like, geez, what a hard ass.
Sam is being like a little weirdo. But Riker is also at the same time, I will concede, a little weird to him also.
For sure.
It's a bizarre dynamic because like Riker does not seem to be that guy very much. So like
he just seems like he's tired of putting up with him.
After.
The thing is that like also like the episode is like from the perspective of these junior officers, so they're projecting like what they feel.
Does Riker
about, and,
Riker thinks, there can't be 2 handsome
for the
people.
record, that was decided very
exactly.
early on in the scripting process that like they weren't entirely sure how much they were going to focus on the little guy's perspective, and finally they were just like, no, we either do this all the way or we don't do it at all. And like I honestly think that was a much better decision.
Yeah. Okay, so now we visit Torek. He's in engineering with Geordi. He's doing some experiment and stuff. There's some stuff, it's not that important, but he's doing some stuff, and Geordi's like, cool, how about we talk about like doing some of these ideas like before we do anything practical, but like sounds cool. Too many variables, let me know. And then, like, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And then Tarek's like, actually, I have some ideas. And Geordi's like, okay, bye. Cool, bye. So then in sickbay...
Geordi's, like, clearly very annoyed. He's like...
Yeah, Geordi's like,
sure.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, cool.
Like Torek is too
bye.
eger to impress in his own way, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because like, Torek is just doing this shit, like, on his own. Mm-hmm. And then he's like... I found some efficiencies. Like, can we go over it right now? And Geordi's like, dude,
like, no.
Like, I'm trying to be polite, but
you're killing my vibe, man.
He's off.
I do love that, like, this whole episode, everyone is trying to prove themselves except for Alyssa, because she's already the best.
Yeah, because Yeah, because Dr. Crusher doesn't like. There's no mystery. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm recommending you for a promotion.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really have to worry.
Yeah, so Alyssa goes to see Dr. C, who's just as like, oh yeah, you're talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, recommending for a promotion. That whole the Lady Gaga speech always goes into my head for like this sort of thing. And Dr. C then is just casually like, oh, how are things with you and Lieutenant Powell? And Alyssa's like, oh, fine, I think. And we learn this is Andrew Powell and he's busy with research. I don't know. Honestly,
he's preparing like a research proposal, so it's taking
like
up,
in the
a
end
lot
it
of
doesn't
time.
really matter.
Yeah.
Powell is entirely off screen, so like he is a character development footnote, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dr. C, I love how like she's all for the hot goss, because like Alyssa's like, oh yeah, he's like kind of being distant and he's like canceling, and could that be like warning signs that he's losing interest? But Dr. C thinks she's overreacting, and so Dr. C says, if I cared about someone as much as you care about Andrew, he'd have to do a lot more than cancel a date before I'd get suspicious. And when she first started saying this, I almost threw something at a wall. Because I was like, before she said suspicious, because I was like, okay, there's nothing suspicious with Picard, but I was like, girl, I'm gonna walk into traffic. Okay, so then we cut to Sito having a drink with Worf and 10 Forward, and she's like, oh, I only filled in at Ops for half an hour, and I had to degauss the main deflector dish, recalibrate the navigation grid, and use internal sensors to find a lost puppy. What puppy? Who has a puppy on this ship?
Well, there's like several thousand
there's
people on the
1,000
ship. I'm sure
people,
someone
but
has a
someone's got to have a
puppy.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
Sorry, I thought it was like 2,000.
It's wild that they would that would be something that Ops would be called in for, is, hey, lost puppy. I'm like, oh, everyone should do everything to find the puppy. But that's really funny that that's what she was spending her time doing. And Worf is like, yeah, Ops is a different challenge from tactical. So Sito's not sure why she's being considered for this promotion. And then Worf's like, oh, I recommended you. So then... Oh, this is also in 10 Forward. Sam, Torek, and Ben are at a different table, and Sam's like, what could they be talking about? And then Torek says, have you ever considered learning to lip read?
For the record, we
And
haven't
then
seen many
Sam-
Vulcans on TNG, and the ones that we've seen the most of have been like already established characters. I think this guy is the first time that we really get a Vulcan for like a long period of time on this show. And he is sassy.
Yeah.
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 He's funny.
I think he normally gets like kind of, this actor normally, from what I remember, like people don't like him. But rewatching this episode, I'm like, no, I think he plays this like pretty well.
Yeah,
I think Maggie, there's a possibility that you're getting him mixed up with another character that he also plays on Voyager.
Yeah,
who
yeah.
is the same but more annoying because it's Voyager writing.
Oh, okay, that could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could just be
because
he's
he
like
plays
someone's
the same
nephew,
character
isn't
with
he?
a slightly different name.
Oh yeah, he's like someone's
Yeah.
nephew, isn't he?
I'm
Or
not sure,
someone's son?
honestly. It's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought he was like yeah, I thought that was like part of the reason people don't like it. He's like a nepotism hire or something. But I can't
It's
remember
possible.
for
I
certain.
could see it. But like
Yeah.
lots of Star Trek hires were nepotism hires.
Yeah.
So like that's dumb.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess he just can't. So some actors can fight through the writing, but I guess he can't.
I'm not even sure if it's like that he can or can't fight through the writing. It's he is an example of how much less interesting Vulcans become because they are just all facsimiles of Spock after this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, sorry. We
So okay,
Really
I'll do the quote from the beginning. So Sam says, "What could they be talking about?" And then Torque said, "Have you ever considered learning to lip read?" And then Sam says, "You think Worf's chewing her out?" And then Ben says, "No, he always looks like that." So then Riker comes in and Ben calls Riker Will, and this really bums Sam out. And Ben reminds of, he's like, yeah, I'm a civilian. I'm not part of Starfleet, so I can kind of like, these are my peers. They're not my superior officer. So
yeah, and
then,
he says like when Riker's in here, he just wants to be treated like a normal guy, like a civilian.
Yeah. And then Sam says that he thinks that Riker sleeps in his uniform, and from the like, because of how we know Riker, it is so funny to hear someone think that about Riker.
Yeah.
It is so far from the truth that like it's just so bizarre. Like this, Sam has no idea how, like rogue Riker. Like holy shit.
Yeah.
So
which is the point.
Yes.
It is. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, but it is like truly it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So Turek tells Ben that Sam thinks that Riker doesn't like him, and then Ben goes, "Why did you crash the ship into something?" Ben honestly was so fun in this episode. I hope we see him again. I'm not holding my breath, but that would be nice to see him again at some point in the season. So Ben and Turek tell Sam that he should talk to Riker, get to know him. Maybe, they have something in common. And then Ben lists that Riker likes jazz, poker, and he's Canadian. And I was like, I completely forgot that this took place like how many fucking years in the future. And I was like, wait, when did like Alaska become a state?
Part of Canada?
No, not part of Canada, but I wasn't sure if
yeah.
it was like part of Canada before it was, but no, it was Russia. It was Russia, and the United States purchased that land from Russia in 1867, and then from there to 1959, it was a U.S. territory. Then it became a state in 1959. Yeah, I did my research.
Yeah.
So then I was like, what the fuck is anyone talking about here? This is crazy. So then Sam's like, oh, my grandfather was from Canada. And I'm like, whoa, so he's picking the one thing that's really not true to go bond over. I'm like, this is not going to go well.
I understand, like, I understand why you did this, but I do find it funny that, like, you're first in, like, rather than first thinking, like, oh, Ben's wrong about that, you're like, am I wrong?
Well, because it's mostly because I forgot when this show takes place, because I immediately thought about when the show was filmed. So I was like, I don't know when states became states. So like,
so you thought Alaska was like part of Canada while this was being filmed or something?
No, because then I was thinking about when Riker, when Jonathan Frakes was born, and I was trying to think of, I was thinking in the wrong fucking time frame. I forgot that like in the Star Trek universe, when Riker was born, obviously Alaska would have been part of the states, because they were part of the states before the Federation, like everything came together. But like I was thinking about it as like, oh, this is from 1994. What year was Jonathan Frakes born? And
okay.
I didn't know.
A little too meta with it.
Yeah, I forgot of the logistics of like this show takes place hundreds of years, whatever, in the future.
Yeah.
So my whole
and
reasoning
that this
was
isn't
moot.
Jonathan
And
Frakes, it's a fictional character.
Yeah. So I just was like,
Commander Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, so I kind of missed the whole part that the show takes place in the future. So obviously it would be, if they're a state now in 2025, then obviously they're still a state, unless Canada decided to fight and take over that spot. Like, that's crazy.
Listen, by like, when's this? What year? It's like, it'd be like 2000, like 2400, right? Something like that. Like
The year that this takes place?
Yeah.
The 2360s at some point.
Okay, yeah, 2360. So in 300 years, like, who's to say Alaska is part of the United States still?
Yeah.
Or or independent or part of Canada, or there's some whole new countries involved.
Yeah, but I also was like,
So-
realistically,
so
I
it's-
can't see the U.S. giving up any land ever. So,
Well, the U.S. is
Yeah.
devastated by the Third World War, but they haven't established that in Star
yeah.
Trek at this point.
oh, of
yet.
course, of course.
They don't establish that until later.
Yeah, my problem is I just was thinking about the wrong time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 250 years ago, the United States wasn't even a
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, so Sam goes to see Riker at the bar, and he's immediately awkward. And he asks Riker what he's drinking, even though he has a full glass of his own drink. That Riker also points
Yeah.
out, like, oh, you have something, you have a drink. And
Like,
then,
what's wrong with yours?
yeah, and then Sam just goes, my grandfather was Canadian, you know? And then Riker goes, really? And then Sam goes, aren't you one too? And then Riker goes, a grandfather? And then Sam goes, no, Canadian, sir, Canadian. And then Riker goes, no, I grew up in Alaska. And Sam goes, oh, well, they both get a lot of snow. And Riker goes, yeah. And Sam goes, it was good talking to you, sir. And walks away. That was very funny. That was really good. Okay, so back on the bridge, we are less than 5,000 kilometers from, oh my god, because we said Canada, I said Canada a bunch of times now. I read this as from the Canadian border, even though it's Cardassian border.
Less than 5,000 kilometers from
Yeah.
Canada. Well, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
expect so.
And by the way, like, less than 5,000 kilometers, like, in space terms, that means they're right.
Yeah.
They're on the border.
Worf has detected an object 5 meters in length. Appears to be an escape pod. And this escape pod is 50,000 kilometers inside the Cardassian space. And Picard's like, so how are we gonna get the pod out of there? So then we learn, oh no, the pod's life support system's failing. They're trying to figure out a way to get the pod within transport limits. And Geordi and Torek do some stuff. They did it. Woohoo.
I think what I really like about that scene is that it's showing us a regular bridge scene, except it's all from the perspective of not the characters that we would normally see it from. Even though we're seeing it in
Yeah.
much the same way, we're not understanding it the way that they are.
Yeah, because we just don't have the same information we usually would.
Yeah, because then Tarek is like, oh, it looks like there's a humanoid in the pod. And Geordi's like, don't fucking worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Yep,
Just
you
focus
ain't
on the
scared.
task at hand. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then Dr. C then asks Alyssa to leave sickbay before said humanoid is sent to sickbay. So then Sito is stationed outside of sickbay. She's only allowed to let senior officers in. And Picard, okay, here's the thing. During this whole section, I thought Picard was like, I thought there was something wrong with Picard. I thought because of his behavior in this was so fucking out of character to me.
Yeah.
That I thought something was going on with Picard. I thought it was like a
Oh,
body
I see.
switcheroo or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Picard like stops in front of Sito and before going to sickbay, and he just like tells her, then just kind of stares at her, and then he goes in. Then he comes out and he's like, "Come with me." And then they're in the turbo lift, and he asks her if she's a certified pilot, and she's like, "Yeah." Then they go to his ready room, and he tells her that she's not the best candidate for the ops position due to, I at this point still didn't catch on what was going on, what he was referring to, due to an incident 3 years ago at the academy. And I still didn't get it. And then he asks if she would ever repeat what she did. And then what Picard calls a daredevil stunt. Again, didn't catch on at this point still.
Yeah.
And then he goes, but what concerns me is that you participated in a cover-up that impeded an official investigation into a death of a cadet. And then I wrote, didn't that also happen to Wes?
Oh, Dory.
Again, did not. And then next line I wrote was, oh, because it did. She was in that episode.
Yeah.
I had no memory of her. I didn't remember her at all.
No, it's fair for you not to remember, but it is funny how long it, like, when they started, like, reminding the audience, it's funny how long it took for you to, like, for you to connect the dots.
Yeah, did not remember at all. But yeah, I did remember that Wes was involved in a cover-up. I did not remember she was there too.
Yeah.
And so then I wrote, kind of wild that Sito would even be on the Enterprise. And then I was like, how are people assigned to ships? Do the captains not get notified? How does this all work? And then what's the difference if her serving like on the ship, if it's in a different position? Like does he only cares because she's up for a promotion? This makes no sense to me. Again, I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Like I knew that what she was
Those
part
are
of at this
fair
point,
questions.
but the way that Picard was speaking to her, he was being so fucking crazy to her.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because
It was
when,
like inappropriate how absolutely the way that he's speaking to her at this point. And so he's like, he can allow her to be in a, so okay, no, I wrote, so like he can allow her to be in one role on the ship though, but like if it's such an issue for Picard, why is she even on the Enterprise? And so Sito says that her experience after the incident at the Academy was horrible. She had no friends. No one wanted to work with her. It really sucked, but she stayed anyways. And does that also not say something about her character? And then Picard says, well, I'm really very sorry you didn't enjoy your time at the Academy, Ensign. As far as I'm concerned, you should have been expelled for what you did. Quite frankly, I don't know how you made it on board this ship. You're dismissed. And I wrote, wow, that was incredibly unprofessional. I am surprised that Picard would like pull her aside, say this to her while she's on duty, like while she's like all this shit, like what, like, and then I was like, is this a body swap or a doppelganger situation?
it does come off as out of character, and it's supposed to.
It is
I think.
so wildly out of character
Because
to me. And I was like,
like,
what do
when
you
you
say
do
this
find
sort
out-
of shit to Wes?
Yeah. But when you
And
do
so I was like,
find
would you
out
say this
what it
to-
is that's going on, like it's like,
still
oh
think
my
it's
god, that
bullshit.
actually makes perfect sense. Like I think
I
it's very
still-
well established.
I don't like I guess we'll get to it, but I don't like why all this is happening. So yeah, I was like pretty upset by all this, by how he was speaking to her. I was really surprised. And I was like, would he even say this kind of thing to Wes? Because I don't think he would. Because I also, again, didn't know the context of what he was going for with this. And it still should not be, like, this was just fucked up. Anyways, we'll get to that part later, but...
Yeah, in my opinion, the reason that he's doing this stealth evaluation doesn't really line up for what he wants
Right?
to figure out.
I 100% agree. I don't think that
Yeah.
any of this is relevant. I don't think the way, even though he said that it is, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched, like, it's been decades since I've watched this episode and not known what was going on. So it is like hearing it from your perspective of like, this is so out of character. Like, I thought they were gonna be like, oh, he's, been taken over or something, which is like, yeah, no, you're right. Like, this is so wildly out of character for
Yeah.
Picard that it is
I
like
legit thought that was what was going on,
shocking.
was that whoever was in the room body swapped with Picard.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tarek and Geordi, that they're in a shuttle bay and they're purposefully damaging a shuttlecraft, as Geordi says, to evaluate hull resiliency. And Starfleet requires periodic testing, but Tarek is not familiar with this requirement. And Geordi's like, cool, maybe it's a senior officer thing. Don't worry about it. But Tarek is like, oh, how about we try it from this angle for the test? But Geordi's like, no, how about we just like follow my instructions and do that?
Yeah.
And
Like, Tarek is asking too many questions.
yeah, Tarek is like, oh, how about we fire at the shuttle from this? He points out, he's like, firing at the shuttle from the position that Geordi proposed for him to stand at makes it appear like the shuttle has fled an attack. And I was like, what fucking conspiracy is the crew pulling right now? Because Geordi's like, yeah, that's a crazy coincidence. That's like so weird. Wow. Crazy. So then Alyssa is called in to assist Dr. C with surgery. We got a comatose patient with a subdural hematoma, in which I immediately was like, oh, that's some kind of brain injury / brain bleed. Thanks, CSI.
Nice.
And Alyssa is not to tell anyone what she sees. Cut to a Cardassian on the operating table. Gasp. And I wrote, my guess is that this Cardassian is defecting. But they probably have to do a whole cover up for safety reasons. I wasn't right,
not
but I
totally off.
wasn't off.
Yeah.
I was in the neighborhood, but not in the house. Okay, so Ben, Torek, Sam, Sito, and Alyssa are in someone's quarters talking about what's going on. Ben heard the person in the escape pod is Spock, which is not. We know it's not true at this point. So Ben is just spilling some hot goss, even though it's baseless.
Yeah. Also realizing like Ben doesn't know as much as he thinks he does.
Ben knows jack shit, but God, is he fun to be around? He's real fun. Yeah. Yeah, Ben knows nothing. Ben is the Jon Snow of this episode. Sorry,
but he acts like he knows stuff.
Yes, yeah. So so the youth group, the kids table, they're playing poker, and so Sam is playing poker, and he's like, so this is something I wrote in my notes. I was like, so Sam plays poker, but he chose Canada to be the common thing he has with Riker, even though Ben said, oh, Riker likes jazz, poker, and is Canadian.
Yeah.
Sam plays poker, and he didn't lead with that. He went, so you're Canadian? Like,
maybe he, that's true.
I'm like, that's
maybe he was
wild...
gonna like work it like into conversation. Maybe he thought like the familiar connection would just be like that was the
being Canadian was his into the gateway to poker conversation.
Yeah, like maybe he just thought like that was the better of the options because it was like, oh, that's more personal. That will like, that gets me in sort of like, you know, everyone likes poker, but if we share like an ancestry, like that's, you know, that could be a better in.
Look, Laval is awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're also like he is like a supposed to be like a stereotype of like kind of like a young cocky officer and like, you know, like young and inexperienced.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes the token white man.
Yeah.
Okay, so we learn, Powell was supposed to join them, but he's working a double, whatever, again, we don't see Powell. So we cut to Riker, Worf, Dr. C, Troy, and Geordi. They're playing poker. So this whole sequence, we're just going back and forth between two different tables playing poker.
Honestly, the shots are really well done.
It's
like,
fun.
This is a very
I
well
actually quite
edited
like
scene.
this. So then Dr. C has some hot goss. She saw Powell talking with another woman. But Riker doesn't think... Oh, this is... I don't know why I said but. These are two different statements. Riker doesn't think that Sito is ready for the ops position, but Worf disagrees. Riker is not sold on Sam, though. He's like, oh, he's trying too hard and keeps trying to ingratiate himself to Riker. And Troy's like, I think maybe you guys are alike. I do not agree, but... from what we've seen
Riker
so far,
when he was younger, so maybe maybe he was like that when he was younger.
Maybe, but based on what I've seen, I don't think they're particularly alike. But again, yes, I didn't know Riker when
Other
he was
than
younger.
being handsome white men.
Yes. They've been handsome off one day.
Yeah.
So then Alyssa tells Sam, maybe don't try so hard to get Riker to like you. Like, he doesn't actually need to like you. He just needs to respect you. And Sito's also like, you know, if he really didn't like you, then you probably wouldn't be up for this promotion, right?
Yeah.
And then Sam's like, oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm saying he hates me, so I have an excuse. So if I don't get the promotion. And then Troy points out to Riker that he took up poker so he could be in the officers' game at the Potemkin. And his senior officers might have thought that he was trying to ingratiate himself. And it's lucky that the officers recognized that he was young and inexperienced and decided to hold it against him. I think the difference...
Not hold it against him.
Yeah, not hold him against... Sorry, yes, not hold it against him. I think the difference is that Riker is very charming. And no offense to Sam, Sam is so awkward.
No, yeah. He
Riker-
doesn't have the charm.
Riker is so charming. So I think even if Riker like got into like when he was younger to do this poker game, I think people would maybe have called him like a smartass or something, but I don't think they would be like, oh, he's like, I don't know. I feel like it probably would have went better anyways. He's just very charming. I think people would
Sam
be like,
is
oh,
obviously
okay, you scamp, get in here.
Yeah, Sam is obviously trying to be charming, but he's not quite pulling it off.
Yeah.
And like we'll get to it in a second, but I think the episode recognizes that with how they conclude this poker scene.
Yeah. So Riker Riker does concede that maybe he's been a bit hard on Sam, and then he wins this hand of poker against Geordi, and then Riker goes, "I am your worst nightmare." Which is so funny.
So you might mention it, but the reason I brought it up is like it's important because the scenes are parallel to each other, and they're showing that like, you know, it comes down to like, you know, what Riker has in his hand and what Sam has in his hand, and it's like Riker wins and Sam loses, right? So I think the show is trying to show like, oh yeah, they may be kind of similar, but Sam is not there yet. Like Riker is you know, the experience shows.
Yeah. So Geordi calls it a night and goes to see Tarek, and Tarek was concerned that he fucked up his relationship with Geordi earlier due to suggesting a more efficient technique for shit earlier. And so Geordi came to ask if he wanted to help him with a task in engineering that they started earlier on in the day, and he's like, yes, I do. So then everyone...
Sorry, before you move on, because that's sort of another example of how like we see the people from the perspective of these officers that don't really know the characters we're familiar with, because he talks about it and is like, oh, like, you know, Geordi seemed annoyed when I brought all this stuff up, and I think it's Sam that says like, oh yeah, because you knew something he didn't, and it's like, we know Geordi, we know that he wouldn't be annoyed by something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kids' table calls it a night, but Ben wants to party still, so he goes to Riker's where the adults' table is, and Ben comes into the room and he goes, "I just cleared out some junior officers, and I thought I would do the same here." So that ends. That's the end of the poker back to back, which is quite fun. Okay, so the next morning, Worf has just concluded his calisthenics, I guess, beginner's class, and Sito is in the class, and he's like, wait, I think you're ready to join his advanced class, but before she has to pass the Giktal, which is an ancient Klingon ritual. And it's a surprise test, no practicing. So she's like, oh, okay. So he puts a blindfold on her and then just like circles her kind of. And he just goes, defend yourself. And then just like starts to kind of fight her. And it's sort of, you think that she's sort of expected to fight him blind, but he just like tosses her around like a fucking rag doll. But she just kind of keeps going, and then she just is like, I don't care for this. She's like, it's really not fair. I can't fucking see, how am I supposed to, you know, do this? And then Worf's like, congratulations, you passed. And then Worf says, it takes courage to say the test is unfair. So yeah, this was just like a bullshit made up challenge that he did.
Yeah.
This was nothing.
Yeah.
And, she also apparently understands Klingon and says to Worf, she's like, Giktal also means to the death. What's the deal with that? And he's like, don't worry about it.
And he's like,
perhaps
you speak Klingon.
Yeah. He's like,
yeah.
he's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, he figured like she wouldn't know what it meant and he could just say whatever
Yeah.
bullshit.
That is, it's honestly the first example of DS9 Worf that we've seen. Now
Yeah.
that I think of it.
It was kind of funny. I enjoy Worf in this. And then he says, perhaps next time you were judged unfairly, it will not take so many bruises for you to protest. It's a nice sentiment. Too bad. Anyways. So Sito goes to speak to Picard and tells him that she can't change she's like emboldened by her conversation with Worf. So she's like, I can't change the past, but she's going to work hard to earn the respect of the people she serves with. And if he's not going to give her that chance, then she would like to be transferred to another ship. And he's like, oh, you think you're going to find a more lenient captain? You won't. And so she says, if you didn't want me on your ship, you should have said so when I was assigned to it. It's not your place to punish me for what I did at the academy. I've worked hard here. My record is exemplary. If you're going to judge me for what I am now. And then Picard goes, very well, Ensign, I will. And I just wrote, she about to be roasted? No, he does not roast her. So then basically he explains, oh, him being an asshole was a test and it's nothing to do with the ops position. He's like, I was harsh with you because I wanted to assess you for a very important mission, a mission that could put you in a situation that would be far more unnerving than a dressing down from your commanding officer. This is bullshit. Picard tells Sito to meet at the senior officers in the observation lounge the next morning at 9 a.m. So then he says to her, though, and Ensign, I do know why you ended up on the Enterprise. I asked for you. I wanted to make sure that you got a fair chance to redeem yourself. Like, thanks, Picard. Like, that's the Picard I know, but I don't, up until this line, I call bullshit for all this stuff. I think it's very dumb. I hate it all. So then Dr. C is like, oh, okay, so we're in sickbay. She's like, oh, Alyssa, I put you up for the promotion, not just because you're like super awesome and the best and so cool and just all around just super chill, super awesome, just, amazing. I also consider you a friend. And that being said, what's the hot goss between you and Powell?
Yeah.
And then Alyssa's like, oh, he proposed. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And then Dr. C goes, I'm so relieved. I mean, happy.
Yeah.
It's like, Dr. C. I'm like, what the fuck? That's so random. It was just really shoehorned in there.
Yeah.
So then Sito enters the observation lounge. Worf, Riker, and Picard.
I think what the implication is that he was distracted because he was planning the proposal.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know. This feels, the whole subplot feels very like shoehorned in. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
So she enters observation lounge where Worf, Riker, Picard are waiting for her. And then we meet Jorrit Dahl, who is the Cardassian from the operating table. He was the one in the escape pod. He is a member of the Cardassian. He is a member of the Cardassian military and also a Federation operative. He's getting info on Cardassian strategic intentions. So it's information that could enhance the security of Bajor and other nearby planets. They need to return him to Cardassian space. His ship was destroyed, so he needs to use one of their shuttles. But if a patrol stops him, he'll claim to have stolen it, which is why Geordi and Tarek were damaging it earlier. And then, so then they want to send her with Jorrit to pose as a Bajoran terrorist, which will allow Jarrett to pose as a bounty hunter, making it easier for them to get past patrol. Then once they're past patrol, Jorrit will send her back to the Federation space in the escape pod where the Enterprise will pick her up, and she volunteers. They're like, we can't ask you to do that, and she's like, it's cool, I'll do it. I was like, oh my god. So then we cut to her entering the shuttle bay looking real rough, and apparently Picard asked Dr. C to make it look like Jarrett had treated her, and so she looks like she's been punched in the face a bunch of times. She got a lot of.
Mistreated.
What did I say?
Treated.
You said treated.
Oh, okay. Mistreated her. Yeah, she's got a lot of bruises on her face. She looks horrible. It's really awful to look at. I don't like this plan. This should come of no surprise to anyone. I do not like this plan from the start. I don't like any of this. This feels very, very bad. So Sito thanks Worf for always having confidence in her, and then off they go. And so she says to... They're in the shuttle, her and Jarrett, and she says, when they stop us, do you want me to say anything? And then Jarrett goes, no, it would seem that, no, it should seem that I've broken your will. If you're asked any questions, look at me as though you're afraid to answer. Then Sito asks Jarrett why he's doing all this, and he says, I don't consider myself a traitor if that's what you're asking. All my life, I've served in the military. Once it was an institution dedicated to the security of Cardassia, now it's a little more than a platform for ambitious gulls hoping to make their reputation in battle. If the information I've provided helps Starfleet deter even one pointless skirmish, I've served my purpose. I'm sick of war. My people need peace. And it's like, okay, that's some common ground between them of like, she's like, oh, I never thought that she would hear Cardassian say those things, and he never thought a Bajoran would risk their life so he could get home. So then the patrol is detected on the shuttle. So Jarrett puts cuffs on her, and she goes and sits in the back. Then in 10 forward, we have Tarek, Alyssa, Ben, and Sam. Oh, also I wrote the first alternate who sits at the black lady who sits at the front with Data, who I wish was part of this episode. This feels like a missed opportunity. So they're all sitting at the bar, and Sam's like, oh, Sito's got to be in that shuttle, right? And it looks damaged, and Tarek and Alyssa are just like,
Yeah, they're like trying to deflect and
and so Tarek goes, but we have to accept the fact that we're not always told about everything that happens aboard ship. And then Sam goes, well, we can at least tell each other what we know. And then it's silence.
It's like, about
Which is
that.
pretty funny. Yeah. And then Sam's like, wait, do you guys like know stuff? And then Sam is like pissed that his friends didn't tell him top secret stuff that like would have put their job in jeopardy along with people's lives. But
to be fair, he didn't know that anything would have put their jobs in jeopardy or people's lives.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm just saying from
like,
my angle, that's what he's like. He's like,
no,
you didn't tell me, but like.
Yeah, he's definitely wrong, but it is like
it's understandable.
It's understandable to be upset, especially when he's worried about his friend, right?
Yeah. So then we learn it's been 32 hours. They've spent 32 hours waiting for Sito's escape pod to appear. Worf suggests launching a probe to increase the range of their sensor sweeps, and Riker does point out that launching the probe into Cardassian space would be a treaty violation, but Picard is like, fucking do it. Let's do it. So then Data immediately is like, oh, we're detecting signs of debris 200,000 kilometers inside Cardassian space. Could be the remains of a Federation escape pod. So then we find out that the Enterprise has intercepted a Cardassian report stating that a Bajoran prisoner escaped her captor and was killed in an evacuation pod as she tried to leave Cardassian space. I can't tell you how fucking livid I was at this. I think I cried. Like, I watched this a few days ago, but like
You know who else did?
I was so upset with this.
You know who else cried? Michael Piller.
You? Yeah.
He watched it and he's like,
horrible.
why couldn't she survive? Why couldn't we, like, can we write her back in? Like, can we write a new, can we bring her back?
It does seem like...
It was truly, I wrote in my notes, is this how she's supposed to be redeemed? Is by dying? And then Picard just announces to the whole ship that Sito died in the line of duty. And I really fucking hated this. I was so upset with this. And then in 10 forward, Ben drops off a drink for Worf, then goes back to the kids' table. And Sam sits down at the table, Riker style, like over the chair, and shows that his new pip that he got promoted. And he feels guilty because he's like, if Sito didn't die, would the promotion have been hers? Like, we don't know. And we never really will know. And Torek says the best way to remember her would be to excel in your new position. And then Alyssa puts the pip in his collar and she says that she's proud of him. Then Ben goes over to Worf and in maybe the most flimsy excuse ever is like, so we need to move this table. You want to go sit over there with those guys? There's an empty seat over there. And talking about the kids' table. And Worf was like, oh, it might be inappropriate to join them because they're her friends. And he was just her commanding officer. But Ben's like, I happen to know she thought of you as a friend. And then the episode ends with Worf joining the kids' table. Honestly, this episode, I really was enjoying it until
they killed her off.
So the thing that I really hated was that I don't think in any universe that having Picard or superior officer like tear you down is any way you can, that is absolutely no way that you can prepare to be put in this life or death situation because there is no danger. If Picard or superior officer is, saying shit to you, you just sort of stand there and take it, but you are not, there is no threat to your life.
Yeah.
You're just being told and it sucks and it's shitty and it makes you feel like shit, but you're not going to fucking die from that. Whereas then he thought that saying this shit to her would prepare her to take worse.
I don't think
to have her be in a stressful situation.
I don't think this was to prepare her. I think it was for him to evaluate her of like how she would do in a stressful situation.
But I don't think this is a comparable thing of like the stressful situation.
It's not supposed to be comparable.
But then like someone who is good in one situation, like,
because I agree with you, Dory. I don't think that this totally makes sense, but one argument I could see is that like, oh, if she's gonna do this mission, she might be like questioned and interrogated like really intensely. So we have to see like if she breaks down over like just this, then she's in no way gonna be able to handle this. So
and like to be fair, that's not something that they would normally test you on in Starfleet. So
but to your point, Dory, I think that that's still like
it's a bullshit meter.
Yeah, it's like it's still like way more high stakes. So like to evaluate whether she's going to be able to handle this or not still needs something different than this.
Yeah, like to me this truly is not a good way to decide. Like obviously, yeah, if someone can't handle them like being shouted at by a superior officer, yeah, they're not going to be able to handle a more serious situation. But like there also is so many like extenuating circumstances for someone to like be cool about that. Like Sito, like she just because she knew she wasn't in any fucking danger, but like you're gonna act differently. But also like the thing that also kills me is that this is another situation where we're putting officers who have no business being in these kind of intelligence situations in these situations. She should not have been there at all. She's been in there for I think she said 7 months. She's been on the ship for 7 months. That is fucking wild that then they would send her in.
Yeah. And
it doesn't make any sense to me why she would need to be there because they're gonna put
they should have sent the Enterprise a more senior Bajoran officer.
Someone who's trained for something like this. Yeah, because who knows what happened on this ship? We don't know.
Yeah, because they don't say that there's a time limit on this or that he has to get back ASAP or whatever.
There is kind of an implication that this is at least a little rushed, but we don't know. It's just an implication.
Yeah.
But to me, this just felt very. It felt like bullshit, and it just felt like this was. It was like a weird way of being like, well, now she she sacrificed her life to get
Yeah.
for this information, and she's redeemed herself from the shitty situation
I don't
you
think
know, a
that's
few years ago.
I don't think
and
that's
I was
what
like,
the point is in the end.
I don't know if that's the point is supposed to be, but that's what it kind of feels like. I don't know
I
if that's
think
what
what
they
the
might not be what
point-
they're going for, but it does make it seem like that is like it's the not it, it's the way that like Picard's like, oh, we thought that like his speech to her at the end where he's like, oh, I thought if you want to make sure you got a fair chance to redeem yourself, and then he sends her out to die. So like
Yeah.
I don't know that that's necessarily what they were going for, but that's how I'm interpreting this, is that it feels
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
at
think-
the end of the day, she sacrificed herself. She put her life on the line so that this guy could go back and the Federation, or Starfleet rather, can keep getting this intelligence, which just feels really like bad.
Yeah. Because I don't think that that's what they were trying to imply. Like, I don't think that they were trying to say, like, oh, this is her redemption. I think it was just, like, the reason he says that is to be like, no, like, I believe in you, right? And, like, I wanted you to have a fair shake at
Yeah,
this
I agree
sort
with
of
that.
thing.
Like, the implication is that she's already proven herself in her time, and she's standing up for herself is the redemption. What happens afterwards is more towards the rest of the story, where the story is kind of a statement on, like, these are the unseen characters that, like, you never, like, there are lots of people around the ship, lots of people who do things, and, like, stuff happens to them and they're out of the loop. Well, what happens when we bring them into the loop a little bit, but still leave the audience a little bit out of the loop? Well, shit,
Yeah.
sometimes reality hits. And
Yeah,
what
I
happens
don't-
then?
I don't-
They
it
don't
kind
get
of makes
nearly,
her feel like
but they don't get nearly the amount of fanfare that main characters do.
Yeah.
And that's actually shown in the fact that she's not even killed on screen. It's off screen.
it does make it feel like she's just collateral damage.
That's right.
Yeah. I
That's
think
right. And I
that-
think that's intentional.
And
Yeah.
it sucks. As
It
I
does.
just don't like the way they went about doing this. I think it just feels very loosey-goosey bullshit.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel like this to me falls very much in the category of like they're trying to make a point, but I think they're doing it poorly with this particular character, because I don't think she deserved this. I don't know. I don't like how they treated her. In the end here, how Picard treated her, and then they send her off on this mission to and like really she volunteered because I feel like that's her maybe in her mind of like an extra point of redemption, of just like this, add this to the stack of like why I'm a good team player and I want to earn everyone's respect and whatever. And then like what it just sucks for me that honestly everything with her story, and I think she's an interesting character. I put in my notes, I like her. I think she's interesting, but I just hate how all this ended up going down with her, because I think the concept of this episode is really interesting. I actually liked everyone.
Yeah.
Even Sam, who was like kind of awkward, but he was fine. I liked it. I liked everyone, and that's why I think like when they said that she died, I cried, because I was like, she didn't fucking deserve this. It just was like really awful. All this show does is make me like people, and then they kill them.
Yeah. And
Stop making me form emotional attachments to people.
Dory?
And I do think that's I do think that that's kind of the point of the episode, is that it's unfair.
Yes.
But I like it's upsetting. So it's fair that you are upset, and I am also upset.
Dory, I am glad that the episode effectively upset you as it was trying to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was I liked it. Like I think it's an interesting story. I do think, it's funny though, I did think about while watching this. I remember thinking that like I feel like shows always do this, where like you're getting to the end and you want to spend as much time as you can with your main cast, and then for some reason they throw in at the last fucking time brand new fucking characters to do all these things, and I'm like, what are we like this? I don't mind this. This was fine.
Yeah.
Because we also do see our characters, but like I have noticed this on some shows that I've been watching recently where you're enjoying the main characters and then we're almost at the end and they're like, hey, what if we took a second to talk about these randos for a bit? And I'm like, what are you talking about? At least with this, we're in the middle of this season.
Yeah.
So we still have plenty of time for our bridge crew, but like it is totally random that they would bring this, like have this episode so late in the show.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It was fine.
Yeah, yeah. And like it's like hearing it from your perspective as like, you know, it's and this is like the whole point of the podcast really is to like see these episodes in a perspective of someone who has never seen them because we've been so familiar with all these episodes for so long.
Yep.
And I think I never thought about it that way, that it's like, oh yeah, like this stuff Picard's pulling is like doesn't really totally make sense. And it's like, yeah, it's very upsetting and unfair what happens to this character. I still personally I think like, okay, I think I see the point that it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be unfair and all that stuff, but it does still really suck that it's like, especially because like I know TNG is ending, but DS9 is going on. So like she could have totally made it on to DS9.
So
somehow.
Fun fact about that, they had a plan.
Mm.
The plan came about after the episode was successful, actually. They decided like, oh, maybe we want to try to bring her back. And what they were actually going to do was have her found in a Cardassian prison after X number of years. And they were going to do a POW episode about what it's like being, being institutionalized in like a political prison for that long and how it affects you.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty sad that they didn't, but I think it's probably better that they didn't.
Yeah.
I think
Wait, didn't we do that? Didn't we have an episode of that? Something similar to where was it Yar or someone many, I don't know how many seasons ago, but I vaguely remember someone who was like kidnapped, ended up being taken to somewhere else and kind of brainwashed. Was it Yar or like her child or some shit like that?
That doesn't sound familiar, but
what
you
you're
talking
thinking of is that like, yeah, in the alternate timeline, Yar got taken prison by the Romulans, and she ended up having a child with the Romulan commander.
Right, and she's brainwashed. No, this wouldn't quite be like that. This would be about being like a prisoner of war.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this was going to be like a psychological damage story more than anything else. DS9 focuses on personal stories a lot, and they're often very uncomfortable subjects.
Wow.
Yes, and it does a very good job of it. But TNG does it less, obviously. But when they do it, they sometimes they knock it out of the park, sometimes they don't.
Well, I feel like we just need to count up the number of times I've cried.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
While watching this show. Maybe that's something I should have kept track of.
That's fair.
Fun fact.
That would have been a category for the show retrospective.
They considered Barclay as one of the lower deckers and then decided against it. For obvious
good.
reasons.
That was a good choice.
Yeah, I think
we don't want him.
Yeah, and I think he's like too high up the chain for that.
I agree with that. Yeah, but they were still like kind of coming up with the concept of the episode at that point.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of like sitting around and coming up with the concept of it. So like, what it comes down
sitting
to,
and coming.
what it comes down to is that the episode really like it came together in kind of a weird way because like they had never done a story like this before. And
Yeah.
like even to this day this is considered like a landmark episode of TNG, not necessarily because of it being good, but rather because of the fact that they had never told a story like this before, and they never really successfully managed to tell a story like this afterwards either. They kind of attempted something like it in Voyager, but not really, and it didn't end up working out nearly as well. Interesting though that it was not one but two fucking characters from TNG that went on to Voyager, like one-off characters that both had to do with the same like kind of group of people, because one of them is what's his nut from the Wesley at the Academy episode, and the other one ends up being Torek in this episode, who both go on to Voyager to play characters who are not the same characters, but they are effectively the same characters.
Yeah, they're technically different so that they don't have to pay royalties to the original writers.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very frustrating, honestly, but like just make it the same. Come on, suck it up.
Yeah, just pay the fucking writers. Like, come on, dude.
But no, they didn't want to do that.
No. Yeah. Yeah, because one of the main characters in Voyager is that kid from that Wesley Crusher episode where he was like, he ended up like taking responsibility when we thought like he wouldn't. It's the same actor. His backstory's the fucking same, but they're like, no, this is a different person.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to pay the writer who originally wrote that character.
Really fucking cheap of them.
Yeah, it would have been better too, like if it was just the same.
Oh, I
character.
agree. Make him Nick Locarno. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's
one of the things I liked about this episode with Sam's character is that he is never like jealous of Cedo or anything like that. He's never like competitive with her either, because they're up for the same promotion, but that doesn't affect their friendship at all in this episode.
He's a genuinely good friend.
Yeah. And even at one point, like when she's at the poker game, she's talking about like how Picard like dressed her down and stuff. Like he's like, hey man, like you deserve that promotion like just as much as anybody else.
Yep.
So I really appreciated that, because it would have been all too easy to like make like some sort of conflict out of that.
Yeah, fall into that trap. No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's that I did notice that as I was watching the episode. Actually, this is the first time that I have seen this episode since beginning to and finishing watching the Lower Decks cartoon that they did. That is obviously based on the concept of this.
Yeah, the cartoon is like, it's named after this episode, and it's obviously like they took inspiration from it.
Yeah. So Dory, the cartoon it's a dumb comedy take on Star Trek that's extremely meta, for better or worse.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's really funny.
You've shown me an episode actually of the show. Yeah.
Sometimes it's really funny. Sometimes it's a bit too much. But either way, I think they do a decent job of it, especially as the show goes on. But the main character, Brad Boimler, is very much Laval here. I think like it's not exactly, but he's supposed to be the same sort of like, yeah, man, I'm really good at doing this and this and this. Also, I'm super way too eager and I'm nervous about it and all the time. And I'm like, honestly, good starting character to pull from.
That makes his Riker obsession make so much more sense too.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, does the character in Lower Decks?
He idolizes the first officer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
who's very much supposed to be like kind of a Riker stereotype, where he's really buff, he's super handsome, everybody likes him, he's really charming. He manages to like do anything without even trying.
Yeah.
How is he with the trombone?
I don't think he plays the trombone, but he's from Hawaii.
What?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's actually very funny.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing
like,
about
sort
it.
of like
Riker's from Alaska, and then this guy's from Hawaii.
Yep.
That's funny.
And because they did a crossover episode with Strange New Worlds, actually.
Oh yes, I remember this.
Yeah, and I think he
remember
mentions
this.
Riker in Strange New Worlds, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, he has to keep quiet
Well,
about
no,
it,
he-
so there's that. He's
he-
so
he
fucking
wouldn't.
tall. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't mention him in Strange New Worlds. He wouldn't mention Riker because Strange New Worlds is before.
No.
Yeah,
So
I
two
know
of the
that.
lower
TNG,
decks
right?
characters their show takes place after TNG. So two of
Oh,
the
so
lower
they
decks
they mention
characters
Riker.
end up traveling back in time to Strange New
No,
Worlds.
I've seen the episode. I just didn't. I didn't know the timeline of when.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Lower
yeah,
Decks
lo-
takes
yeah,
place.
Lower Decks
It's
is after TNG.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And yet,
that's why they
fuck,
have
he's
that.
tall. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a joke in Lower Decks that you would hate, Dory. In that, like,
God.
they have this statue of Starfleet Academy of, like, the most important officer in like, Starfleet history, and it's Chief O'Brien.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Jesus.
To be fair, that's supposed to be in like a
Christ.
weird future timeline, so there's that.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that I'm hoping that DS9 will make you enjoy him more. But we'll see. Yeah.
I think she'll actually dislike him more, but I think that
could
she'll
be,
like the
yeah.
episodes around him because like he's still a jackass in DS9. It's just that he's
It's
supposed to
different.
be like the everyman, and they lean into that.
Yeah. And they get more into like the like relationship between him and Keiko, and they're like,
Oh, I like her.
yeah. And they're when they start DS9, they are having a rough patch in their marriage.
Oh, she deserves better.
Yeah.
Keiko's quite good in the series, actually. They do some really
I
good
think
episodes around her.
They did it realistically, but you see throughout the series that he's obviously like in love with her and stuff like
Yes.
that. He's not like a dick to her. They're just having like because the move to the station is like it's difficult, you know. Because they were on like the flagship of Starfleet, right? They're on this like luxurious, like beautiful ship, like that's, I mean,
They got downgraded.
technically supposed to be very safe, but we know that's not true.
yeah,
Yeah,
Enterprise,
but-
Jesus.
Yeah, and now they're on Deep Space Nine, which is a station that's in like disrepair and on the like sort of on the outer edges, like not on the outer edges of the Federation, but like
No, it
it's
is
not a
literally
great
on the outer edges of the Federation.
yeah. So it's not a great situation. It's like they're moving to like a place recovering from being occupied and stuff. So it's not great, you know. So obviously there's going to be some tension with that, which I think they do well. Anyway, we're getting distracted by DS9.
DS9 corner.
Yeah. But that is something I noticed, like, watching this episode back. I'm like, oh, yeah, because DS9 was running at this point. So, this does, like, part of this does seem like wanting to integrate some of what's going on Deep Space Nine into TNG to sort of hopefully draw people to that series, in my opinion.
No, I definitely agree with that. They do more. Well, I mean, there's still more of it as the show wraps up. So there's that.
Yeah. As the drama channels say, allegedly, in my opinion. Okay, then I think it's fair to move on to favorite moments and lines.
Ben.
Mm-hmm.
All of Ben's lines were pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let me go to the beginning. Alyssa. Loved seeing Alyssa.
Yeah.
I really liked everything with the kids table.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good way to put it, too.
Oh, I like that Worf was rooting for was the one who recommended Sito.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice. I like that he's like. I liked that. Even though it's awkward as fuck, the Sam Riker exchange about being Canadian
Oh, yeah.
was pretty funny. Let me see. Oh, I liked, honestly, Tarek was great too. I like his little sort of sassy responses. Oh, I like when Riker said, "I am your worst nightmare" when he won at poker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the exchange that I thought was funny, but I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. So when Sito's talking to Worf, and Sam goes like in 10 forward, and Sam goes, "What could they be talking about?" And then Tarek goes, "Have you considered learning to lip read?" And then Sam goes, "You think Worf's chewing her out?" And then Ben goes, "No, he always looks like that." Yeah, I liked the kids' table. I liked all their scenes together. That was nice. It was interesting getting like a look at the other, getting to see the like how the bridge crew was perceived by other people. Because yeah, the way that like Tarek was like, "Oh, I'm probably really annoying Geordi," which like, yeah, you might be annoying Geordi, but he's not going to be like, wouldn't chew you out for that. He'd be like, it's fine. Like, he's not going to get mad at you.
Yeah.
Or anything. So like Geordi's pretty chill. And yeah, so, oh, and I like at the end when Worf joins the kids' table.
Yeah, that was
with
very
Ben's
sweet.
Even though Ben's excuse of like, "Hey, we need to move the table. Can you go sit over there?"
Yeah.
It was very silly, but yeah, I think there's like a lot of good stuff in this episode. It just
Yeah,
it
the
gets a
ending
little
is
bit-
upsetting.
it's such a bummer.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked how they did the poker scene, like the way I thought it was very
yeah.
effective how they went back and forth and
Yeah.
how it was like parallel to what they were talking about. And it was so well done that you don't even really, at least when I was rewatching it, like you don't really notice it either. It just very seamless the way they did it. So I
Yeah.
thought that
Yes.
was
Yeah, I think
100%
they're
agree. I
using the
forgot about
same set that just slightly differently dressed. So that helps a lot because they can keep the lighting the same.
yeah, exactly. And I know it's hard to like point ironically enough, it's hard to point out like favorite moments because I just really like this episode overall. I just kind of liked everything about it. Like I thought they did a really good job like with the characters, especially because like the only person we're familiar with is Sito, and even that is like it's like been a while, so I thought although no, we're familiar with Nurse Ogawa, but like we don't really know her as a character. She's just kind of there. So I think they did a really good job of like establishing these characters very quickly and that like you care about them very quickly, which is like difficult to do. And a lot of other shows will be like, "Oh, we'll make a character so that we can kill them off in the end." And they try to make you care about them so that you care that they died. And a lot of times it doesn't really work because you're like, "Okay, we're only just introduced to this person, so why do we care?" But
Yeah.
I think this episode did a good job of like making you care that this person died. You know, even though that it's very upsetting. It's like you cared.
Yeah.
A portion of it is
Cool.
because the character has previous history, and like when you realize
Yes.
that, you don't necessarily immediately remember the history, and that's fine. But you do note like, oh yeah, this is someone that I've seen before, and I liked her there too. So there we go.
Yeah. And in that previous episode, like you don't, from my memory, like you don't get to know her that much, but like
No,
it
not
does
really.
help that like you have seen this person before
Yeah.
at all. But like even so, like I know in Discovery, was it Discovery? Yeah, there's a character in one of the seasons. There was this character that they had that was just sort of kind of there, and then suddenly in one episode they give them a lot of screen time and they end up dying in the episode, and you could see it coming from a mile away. And even though this is a character we're like sort of like vaguely familiar, like this is a character we're familiar with seeing on a regular basis, and they give them more backstory and stuff, it still didn't really play that well. Whereas like they managed to do that in this episode really well.
I think the casting was really good. I think everyone had, because I feel like something like this could go a billion different ways, but like I feel like the five of them had really good chemistry together, that like I
Yes.
believed they were friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they all
Yep,
kind
I
of
agree.
vibed really nicely, and I think like for even like, because Tarek, Sam, and Ben are new as far as I know. Like everyone just like vibed.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Because I think that's because TNG in general, when it's at its height, I think it does like just relationships between characters is one of the things it does best.
When it wants to be.
When it wants to
Very
be, yeah.
rarely.
But like some of the best episodes are just more interpersonal episodes.
This is true. Yep.
Yeah. So I think like they sort of leaned into their strengths on this one. And I mean it sparked a spin-off series. I mean like 20, 30 years later, but
Okay, wait. Let's be fair. The idea for this sparking off a spin-off series is legitimately something that the fandom had been clamoring for years. It was
Yeah.
like a huge meme in the entire community. Everybody was like, man, we should totally just make a Lower Deck series next. It would totally take off because you don't have to worry about as many special effects or stakes or all of that. And,
Yeah.
then they make it an animated show, so there we go.
yeah, that and what was it? What was the other thing people really wanted? It was like an Excelsior series, like a Captain Sulu series.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Anyway, so what were your favorites, Jeff?
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
One eye is sufficient, ensign. God, the way that Riker is such like a hard ass on him in that scene, it's funny because like we've seen Riker annoyed at people, and we've seen Riker when he's jovial with people, and it's clear in that scene that he's being too hard on him, and then when he sees him again later on, in 10 Forward. And he's just like laughing at how fucking awkward the guy is. It's just
Yeah.
like, Riker, come on, you've seen awkward people before. Give it a rest. Like, give him a chance.
Yeah, yeah. And I did also, sorry to interrupt your time, but it just reminded me that I did also think that like what I did really appreciate were the touches of where the Lower Decks characters like mention how they perceive like the main characters' personalities and how different
Yes.
they are to like how
Yeah.
we know them. So I thought that was a fun touch.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. I think that the entire concept of the episode actually succeeds specifically because of that. Like they go out of their way to make sure that this will feel different for the audience who's watching it by making sure that your perspective is very limited. Whereas normally we get that perspective of everyone. They're making sure that like you are just as in the know as these characters are, and that feels different from normal because you're seeing things on the bridge that you would normally see, and you're not getting that same perspective out of it, and it really gives the entire scene like a very different vibe from the way that it would if we were watching just a regular ass episode. And like I appreciate that a lot. I think that the episode manages to be really consistent in that way. And it's funny because Jerry Taylor was actually worried that the episode was rushed. Yeah. I think what was going on behind the scenes is she had to hand it off to some staff writers, even though she wanted like some particular people to write it, but they weren't able to for whatever reason. They were busy with another one, and they're getting ready to work. Like they're in the last half of the season, so they're kind of ramping up production and all of that. But like, I think that what the teleplay writers did with the concept was a very good idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, I agree. Sorry, I didn't.
Nope, that's fine. And yeah, that's all I have
agree.
to say.
All right, now time for predictions for the next episode. So, Dory, this next episode it's sort of a split episode in terms of like character focus. It is
Okay.
and so not together, but two separate stories.
Okay.
Data and Troy are the main
Ooh.
focuses. Yeah.
Okay.
So, your little tidbit is that.
Wait, what's the name of the episode?
Oh, sorry. So the name of the episode is called "Thine Own Self."
Oh God.
Yeah. So,
Ugh.
your
Don't worry, it's not medieval.
your hint about the
No,
episode.
that's not a don't worry. That would appeal to me.
Oh.
Your hint about the episode is that Data crashes onto a primitive planet and loses his memory.
Oh God.
Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, Deanna takes an exam.
Oh boy.
Maggie,
So-
I love how you explained that because there's that there's that old Twitter account. I think it's gone now, or like they just don't use it anymore. That was called TNG Season 8.
Oh,
and, yeah, and they would just tweet out like fantastical fucking story ideas, and it would be like, here's the A plot and here's the B plot, and the A plot would
Yeah.
always be something very serious and the B plot would be something very silly, and the way that you said Deanna takes an exam just fit with that completely. I was very impressed.
So, what I'm asking you, Dory, for this episode is, how primitive do you think the planet is, and what do you think Data does while he's down there? And what kind of exam do you think Deanna's taking?
Oh boy. Okay. Because here's the thing, we just saw the Worf episode where it was a pre-warp civilization. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, is it too soon to have another pre-warp? Or
It definitely is pre-warp,
okay, so
but like
okay.
how pre-warp?
Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna guess like caveman style.
Caveman style, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing that Data is rescued by cave people.
Mm-hmm.
And they, they try to teach him stuff, and
So, I guess
don't know.
another
I'm trying to think of,
another thing is like, how do you think he ends up crashing on this planet? Also, like what
hard.
is he there?
He
to
crashes
do?
hard.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Oh, my guess is maybe like they. Okay, my guess is the planet probably has some kind of a resource, some natural resource that they need on the Enterprise. And they try to stay like to a certain degree to one side where to stay away from the people. So so it doesn't, so they don't, prime directive the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And but maybe just like, oh, maybe one of them, like Peter Pan style, like the Lost Boys style, like shoots the shuttlecraft down. They don't understand what it is. And they are just like, wrong place, wrong time. They shoot Data's ship down. They go to investigate, and maybe that's why, like, maybe when it hits it, like Data's like electronic, could like all the electricity stuff, he gets a shock, and maybe that's why he can't remember anything. And they rescue him, and they bring him to their homes, and
Bring him to their cave.
yeah, their cave village. And my worst instinct is that they see him as like a god or something. But that's based on like it just made me think of Star Wars. when like I think it was the Ewoks or something think
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah.
C-3PO is like a god or something.
Yeah.
And not to compare Data to like C-3PO, but
I mean,
we're gonna that's what I think is gonna happen.
okay.
I'm stealing Star Wars plots now. And Troy's exam. Oh boy. I think it's probably gonna be something like, I don't think it's gonna have anything to do with her field. I think she wants to like expand her
Her horizons.
yeah. So maybe she God, what do you take an exam in? I don't even know. Like maybe she's been doing like night school. And now it's exams, and she's learning like maybe stuff for like being a officer in like a different department. Which department? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's my really dumb guess, is that Troy's exam is like when she's getting her like the bartender's license.
Yeah.
So she's
getting her
she's gonna
smart
hang out at
serve?
10. Yeah, she's getting her smart serve so she can hang out at 10 forward. No, she's not doing that. Although how crazy would it be?
I could
No,
see
I
a
don't know.
justification for it too, being like, you know, oh, like it's to help me like observe like people more
Yeah.
to help with therapy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like bartenders are like therapists. Like,
Yeah. God, I can't think of like what kind of exam would she be. Maybe I'm thinking too broad of it, but maybe it's just like it's an officer's exam, although I have no idea what would be on an officer's exam.
yeah.
Maybe I have no idea what to. Maybe I should just for prediction's sake go with she's getting her smart serve.
All right. And if anyone happens to be listening to this that doesn't know what that is, that's just the certificate you need in the province of Ontario in order to be able to serve alcohol. It's so like,
Yeah.
you know, you can, know when to recognize when someone's had too much and when to cut people off and, blah, 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 that sort of thing. So, if you want to know if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.